WWE Stomping Grounds takes place tomorrow night in Tacoma, Washington at the Tacoma Dome. And Tacoma is definitely an odd place to have a wrestling pay-per-view event, and you can certainly tell that WWE looks at this as a throwaway pay-per-view. This was originally going to be Backlash, and I think this was supposed to take place in San Diego, but WWE decided to change up their schedule, and they put this and later in June. I think it was all because of Saudi Arabia schedule messed them up, so they put this at the end of June in Tacoma. So this is just like a throwaway show. It's probably put together at the last second. Stomping Grounds is it's not a bad name, I guess. Not too bad for a show, but I mean, what does WWE really have to do with Tacoma? If you're going to do Stomping Grounds, it'd probably be somewhere in New York, right? Because that's where WWE started. Anyway, this is a very average card. There's not much that interests me here. Here's what we got. We start off on the pre-show. I don't know what's going to be on the pre-show. I could be wrong. This is probably on the main show. But because I think this is the most likely match that will be on the pre-show, and that is a tag team match. You have the New Day, which is Big E and Xavier Woods, against Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. I'm going to go with the heels. I think Owens and Zayn get the win here. I think they're going to eventually split up the New Day. I don't know when they're going to do it, but I think it eventually has to happen. I think the person who's going to benefit the most from the split of the New Day will be Big E, because I think he can be a big single star. He has a lot of personality. He's good in the ring. He has a great look. He's huge. I think he's the guy they push. And I think Xavier Woods certainly is going to take the fall here, probably from Kevin Owens, probably a powerbomb. And one thing I've been noticing is I think Kevin Owens has been dragged down a bit because of Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn, to me, just looks like a geek. He just looks like a dweeb. A scrub. That's what he looks like. He's good on the mic, but he just doesn't look like a star at all. He just doesn't have it, in my opinion. I think Owens actually gets dragged down a bit because he's with the tag team with Zayn. Could be a better single star. But I think the heels get the win, and I think we're going to slowly see the end of the New Day. But Big E and Xavier lose with Xavier getting pinned. So now we get to the main card. You have the Cruiserweight Championship. You have Nese defending his title against Akira, Tozawa, and Drew Gulak. So Drew Gulak, not a great week for him. I know someone who had an even shittier week. But for these three, you have Tozawa's good and Gulak. So I think we're going to keep it on Nese. Nese is the champ. I think it was a good decision putting the belt on him at WrestleMania when they had him beat Buddy Murphy. That's the last 205 Live match I've seen. I have not watched a single episode of 205 Live since its inception in 2016. And I'm actually pretty proud of that. It'll be good. The crowd's not going to care. It's Tacoma. My God. It's like a casual as casual can be. They're not going to give a shit. They're up in the woods in Washington State. I'm sure they really watch 205 Live. This is like not... I mean, I don't know. This is not the kind of match that I'll go over in a city like this. You put this in a Mark City. You don't put this in a... Even in Seattle, it'd be fine. Just Tacoma, not really. I think Nese keeps the belt. The SmackDown Tag Team titles, you have Daniel Bryan and Rowan defending their titles against Heavy Machinery. And this is a hard match to predict because I can see him pushing Heavy Machinery. I know Vince McMahon loves Otis. That's not a good sign for Tucker because, like every tag team in the WWE, they're going to be split up. And once Vince McMahon splits Otis and Tucker is fucked. He'll push Otis and then they'll probably give up on him. But Tucker is fucked if they ever split them up. I think this is a DQ finish. I think Heavy Machinery gets himself DQ'd or something. I think Otis fucks up and he messes up the match and it's a fuck finish. It could even be pinned here. Wouldn't surprise me. I don't know. I don't see Daniel Bryan and Rowan losing right away. I think they're going to keep the belts on them. I don't think it's a good idea to take it off them. I think they keep the belts here. And it's not a good idea for Heavy Machinery to get the titles here because they're going to be booed out of the building. Daniel Bryan is in his home state. He's not from Tacoma, but he is close from there. He's going to be cheered like crazy. He's going to be a babyface. It's going to be the 2014 Daniel Bryan in this match, and he's going to be beloved here. So there's no reason to have him lose. Him and Rowan get the win, and Daniel Bryan keeps his tag team titles. Next, the match that will probably steal the show, and if they give this time, they could have the best match in the year in WWE. Maybe on the main roster. I wouldn't say better than the NXT match, but these two, if they get time and if it's booked right, they can steal the show. But it won't. It'll probably be some weird match with some weird finish because it's Vince McMahon's WWE. This is the match that, if it was an NXT, it would be awesome, but it's on the main roster. You have Samoa Joe defending his United States Championship against Ricochet. So, very interesting week for Mr. Ricochet. Yeah, I'm not going to mention it. It is what it is. I don't really care. Joe is a champion who they don't push much. I don't think they ever really believed in. I think Joe is someone who came there near the end of his career just collecting a paycheck now. I think they see big things in Ricochet. I think Vince McMahon looks at Ricochet and Aleister Black, although it might not show at Black because he's just doing promos right now. But I think they looked at those two as big stars, and that's why they had them as a tag team to give them something to do when they first came up to the main roster. I think they have big things for Ricochet, and I think he's beating Samoa Joe here. I think we got a new U.S. champ. Even though it won't be a great match because WWE won't let it be, they could still have a very good match. Easily, without question, the match I'm looking forward to seeing the most. By far, it's a hell of a match here. There's no reason it shouldn't be a great match, but I think Ricochet takes. I think it'll be a back and forth match. I think he beats Joe in a roll-up. I think it'll be something where Joe goes for the Coquina Clutch and then Ricochet runs up the turnbuckle and pins Joe or something. It'll be some sort of a roll-up, and I think he beats Joe. And I think they'll continue, but I think Ricochet takes this and he wins the United States Championship. Next, you have Drew McIntyre against the big dog, Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns was just pinned by Shane McMahon at the Saudi Arabia show, Super Showdown. I don't see him losing again. I think having him lose to Drew McIntyre is something that would be a huge mistake. I think he needs to just get through Drew, then he'll destroy Shane McMahon. When Roman Reigns destroys Shane McMahon, it'll be great because the fans hate Shane. Shane's just irritable. He's irritating. He's horrible. He's killing the ratings. The ratings are mostly down because of Shane McMahon and Baron Corbin. He's a horrible star. It's unsufferable. It's all being set up, though. It's all done on purpose to have him get so much heat that when Roman Reigns spears him into oblivion, it's going to get a huge pop, and that's what's going to happen. Roman's going to beat Drew, and then he probably faces Shane at the Extreme Rules show, and that's where he'll destroy Shane. And maybe he goes after Kofi at SummerSlam. But they had a horrible match at WrestleMania. It was a shit match. And I think it did have to follow Kofi Kingston and Daniel Bryan, if I'm not mistaken. So maybe that's why. And the crowd was dead. But all I was thinking during WrestleMania is Roman Reigns just overcame cancer. It's his first match back. He's in the main event of he's having a match at WrestleMania after beating leukemia. I think he's going to be a huge star in his match with Drew McIntyre. It was just a nothing match, but I think Roman takes this. Next, we have the SmackDown Women's Championship. You have Bayley defending her title against Alexa Bliss with Nikki Cross in her corner. So this is an interesting match. It's going to go one of two ways. Nikki Cross is obviously going to get involved. We all know Nikki Cross will be involved. We all know Nikki Cross is probably going to play a part in the finish of the match, whether or not she helps Alexa win or she doesn't. My guess is Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross have been getting a lot of television time. Not just a little, but a lot. They've been featured all over Raw. They've been on SmackDown together. They're clearly aligned, and they love Alexa Bliss. Vince McMahon adores her. They look at her as one of the top female stars. They're not going to push her as that because she's very limited in the ring and she's very small. But it wasn't too long ago when she was champion for nearly a year. I think with an exception of 8 days, she was champion for 11 months straight, almost a year. She is beloved there because they love the way she looks. She's absolutely gorgeous. She's smoking hot. She's got big tits. She's got a nice ass. She's got a beautiful face. She talks really well. She's great on the mic, a lot of charisma. And she is also horrible in the ring. She's not good. She's gotten very worse since her injuries. She's not good in the ring. I see them going with Alexa Bliss. Now, the one thing is, Bayley won Money in the Bank. They just gave her the briefcase. They don't usually, when you win the briefcase and then win the title, they usually give those briefcase holders a decent title reign. And Bayley would have like a month at title reign. But I think this whole thing with Bayley, this is my opinion, was done as a giant fuck you to Sasha Banks. I think Sasha Banks would be in this exact same position. I think she was going to win Money in the Bank. I think she was going to beat Charlotte for the title at the last pay-per-view. But she decided not to. She walked out. She's still not coming back. I don't think Sasha Banks is coming back now. At first, I was thinking she'll be back. I think she's done. I think she's just going to wait till her contract's up. And I think WWE's just going to get tired of her and they'll let her go. And then she'll be in AEW probably sometime in 2020. But Sasha's done, and I think this whole thing was done to spite Sasha. I don't think they see Bayley as a star. I think Alexa Bliss wins, and Nikki Cross helps Alexa win, and probably Alexa and Nikki at SummerSlam. Maybe even, I wouldn't shock me if they build up to Alexa and Nikki at WrestleMania, because that's what they did with Alexa and Nia a couple years ago. They love Alexa, and they're going to give her a huge reign, and she's probably going to be champ for a long time, and then they're going to build up to Nikki Cross turning on her, and that'll be a big match, in their opinion. Then Nikki will probably take the belt from Alexa. But Alexa wins the title here. Next, the Raw Women's Championship, a match that's probably going to piss a lot of people off if Lacey Evans wins, and that's when Becky Lynch defends her title against Lacey Evans. And this is the second match they've had on pay-per-view. The first match was not good. It started off fine, but the last couple minutes, if I remember correctly, were absolutely horrific. It fell apart. It was okay, and then just kind of fell off a cliff. There was a lot of botches near the end. Lacey Evans is not good in the ring. She's not the worst wrestler there. There's so many women who are a million times worse than Lacey Evans. But as a top female star, she's just not very good in the ring. She's very limited. She has a great look. She's blonde. She's tall. She's very jacked. She's big, almost as big as Charlotte. And she was in the military. She served in the Marines. This is a woman who is a legitimate badass. Instead, they give her some sort of southern twang, stupid shit gimmick that no one likes. But she is a real badass, and they played up the military angle. And I think if they start saying, she was a Marine, that's going to turn her babyface. Because who's going to want to boo a Marine? Who's going to want to boo a servicewoman? Who would do that? Someone who has a kid and who served in the U.S. Marines. It's going to be hard to boo her. They're doing this with Lacey Evans to give her a big push, and she's going to get this title. It's just not going to happen tomorrow night. I think Becky Lynch keeps the belt. I think they're going to keep the belt on Becky. They could have Stephanie McMahon screw her, because I've heard that one of the rumors for SummerSlam is a match between Becky Lynch and Stephanie McMahon, and it doesn't really make much sense to have Stephanie go for a title. So you could have Lacey take the belt and then have Becky and Stephanie feud at SummerSlam, and that's where Becky beats Stephanie. You could do that match, but I think Becky's keeping this. I just think she is. I don't know. They could have Lacey win. It wouldn't shock me at all. It won't do good for the ratings here with the summer coming up. No one wants to really be staying at home all night watching Raw. And, Lacey Evans, her as champ, it's only going to hurt her ratings. Next, you have the WWE Championship. I don't know which is going on last. I don't think this is, because it's a SmackDown title. It's Kofi and Ziggler, but Ziggler challenges Kofi Kingston for the title, WWE Championship, inside a steel cage. Kofi wins. This is such a lock. There's no way Ziggler's winning. Ziggler probably just was back here because they ran out of someone to challenge Kofi. It was going to be Daniel Bryan, but then Daniel Bryan got hurt, and they were afraid of him having another concussion issue. But he's fine now, but they had to take him out of their plans, and I went to Kevin Owens. He didn't want to go to Saudi Arabia, so they had to go with Ziggler. And then he just decided to stick around, and I think he leaves. I think he goes back to his comedy tour that no one watches. And, I think Nick Nemeth can just be a comedian, because I don't want to see him in the ring ever again. I'm done with this Dolph Ziggler character. It's a boring character. It's done. They had their chance to make him a star, and they never did. So, Kofi's keeping this belt. This is a complete lock. I don't think anyone's going to care about this match. It's a cage, so it could be interesting, but I don't see either guy doing big spots. Kofi keeps it, and that's it. Main events, which I think probably will go on last. You have Baron Corbin in the fucking main event as he challenges the Universal Champion Seth Rollins for the title, and there is going to be a special guest referee. Who's it going to be? I do not give a shit. I do not care. Why the fuck do I have to see Baron Corbin? This guy is responsible for the ratings being so low. He's the worst wrestler in the company. He's so bad. It's unbearable how bad this guy is. He gets more TV time than anyone. It's like they push him like he's a top star. The thing about Baron Corbin is, I look at it as, if you're going to be booed out of the building and get that bad reaction, you have to be a top star and to continue to push you. And he's a heel, but it's not a situation where you have John Cena or Roman Reigns where everyone's complaining about him, but they're drawing money, selling merchandise, they're drawing ratings, at least Cena did. This guy has no merchandise. His ratings are in the absolute shitter. Whenever he's on TV, he is horrible. He's not a draw. He's horrible on the mic. He looks like shit. Shitty in the ring. He's just tall, and Vince loves him. So he's dressed like an Applebee's waiter. He's not winning the title. Seth Rollins keeps the belt. I don't think Brock Lesnar's cashing in. It's Tacoma, Washington. You think Brock's going to give a shit about Tacoma, Washington? He probably doesn't know what the fuck that city is. They're not wasting a Brock appearance in Tacoma. Seth keeps the belt. This is a nothing pay-per-view. It's not a show at all. It's probably just going to be a throwaway show. So my expectations are very low for this show.